He scored! Amazing goal by Ricky Vieira. The big man from Argentina went round 1, 2, 3.
Hello everybody, and this is a new video coming out, and I've been delighted to be partnered up with my good friend Brian Daigle. Welcome to the channel. You've been on before, but this is the first time we've actually done a video together.
Yeah, no, I came on your first one, your first ever video that you did. I was a part of that. It's been a long time since then, seeing you doing great things and getting bigger, and always a pleasure. I got the call this morning, just woken up, and I thought, what better way to start a Friday than with my brother Perchy? Big up,
mate. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to dissect. We're going to go into it. The circus and the clown that is Daniel Levy and the circus that is Tottenham has ripened, as we see. Scary, I know. And the big top, the big top Tottenham, as I like to call us, because we are a circus. We run like a circus. We're not run like a proper football club. Yep. So last couple of days, everyone's getting excited. Arne Slot, even me myself, thinking, what a manager that can come in and actually operate like we need to. We need a manager to operate like Arne Slot. What a manager we can get in here. And then we got the news yesterday morning. We all woke up to it that he's decided to stay at Feyenoord and would rather get a new bump contract. I mean, there's a lot of talk saying that he used us to get a big deal. Why wouldn't you, to be fair? I mean, he's just he'll be in the Champions League with Feyenoord next season. Why wouldn't you? But there's also conflicted rumours saying that Tottenham didn't want to actually hit the 20 million euro release clause, or that was the fee that Feyenoord were happy to let him go at. What are your thoughts, mate? I would love to hear your thoughts on all of it.
So yeah, I'll break that down for the audio you went on. First of all, you started when isn't there breaking or news about the circus that is Tottenham Hotspur Business Club, as I call them right now. I have THBC is what we've done. It's kind of a mix with HSBC and our football club. Quite apt, I feel. So everyone woke up to the news yesterday that it was done. But essentially, I found out the night before. And when I found out the night before, it wasn't a guarantee, but as you know, myself, Johnny, Billy Cards, and a load of us do a load of these Twitter spaces, and I go on these. And there's a very, very respected guy from Holland that comes on the spaces, and he came on when he saw we were on. He goes, "Guys, got some bad news. Bad news. You're not going to like it. This deal could be falling through very quickly." And we asked for information. Why? It wasn't the information that he actually gave, or that we've heard. It's actually another plot to this saga. Is he said apparently talks have been ongoing, and obviously Arne Slot, like any sane manager, wants guarantees and assurances because of how we're run and where we are. And apparently the club, from what he was hearing, not official, the club, from what he was hearing, the club, as in Tottenham, weren't prepared to meet all the demands and assurances and guarantees. And he said that Arne Slot was like, because of my love and respect to Feyenoord, there's going to be one round of talks. This isn't going to be like a transfer that drags out all summer. It breaks down. It's we go full steam ahead and we go, or we don't. But obviously, that was that night before. Then to wake up before 9 a.m. UK time and see that it broken.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, I don't care who the manager is. I don't care. I don't care anything about, apart from getting the owners out for obvious reasons. And then you break it down and you look at it. Is it because he wanted to use this as a stocking horse? If he does, well played, Arnie. Well played. But how embarrassing! Like people like Luis Diaz and other people and agents and players and now managers are using the great Tottenham Hotspur as a stocking horse to get a deal for them elsewhere. And do you know what? Fair play to Arne Slot. It's no coincidence that this day was getting mentioned just before season ticket renewal day. Oh, must pay. Oh, it broke down. So there's that. The release fee, people have got to remember, they're talking between 15 and 20 mil. That wasn't just for Arne Slot. That was for two of his backroom staff as well. So then you're talking three people, 5 million each. If he's your number one target,
why would you not want his assistant? Why would you not his coaches in? Why wouldn't you? If you're going to do it, go absolute full steam ahead of it, and just
Exactly.
And this is one of the biggest problems I have at Tottenham, and you probably agree with me to a certain extent. We do everything by half measures. We don't go, do you know what? We need to start again. And I genuinely, and I got sucked into it, and me and Sava both probably did. He'll probably agree with me what I said. I think you were on his show yesterday as well, and I kind of thought, he's got no other legs now, Daniel Levy. He's not going to have Harry Kane bailing him out every season, because Kane's going to go. If it's this season, if it's next season, he'll be gone. Harry Kane won't be a Tottenham player, I don't think, within 12 months. I think by this time next year, he'd been signed for a new team, or he's gone in the summer. So within the next 12 months, we won't see Harry Kane, maybe earlier. Harry Kane, for me, has been the only reason that we're going over the line of the target at Tottenham. Not my target. My target is just to compete and win trophies. But the target at Tottenham is to get Champions League football. We're nowhere near that with Harry Kane at the moment. Without Harry Kane, we could be down struggling. And this all goes back to what I was just saying. Why can't we ever do things right? Proper football clubs go, do you know what? Arnie Slot's our target. 20 million euros, and it means we get his staff in. It means we gut out people in our backroom staff that maybe aren't what he wants. He goes, I want to keep him. I don't want him. Great. You're gone. You're staying.
Yep.
He's in charge. And for me, I don't know where for me, I always sit and I go, it's probably a bit of both. He's probably gone, do you know what? Is it worth taking a risk at Tottenham? Because actually, staying at Feyenoord, and if he goes and does well, by the way, next season with them, teams above Tottenham will be looking at him. The teams like the Bayern Munichs, the Real Madrids, the sort of elite football clubs is what I like to call, will be looking at him. He could have done it twice in a row with Feyenoord.
Yep.
Going to Tottenham can completely destruct any good things. Use Graham Potter's a great example at Chelsea. His stock was so high at Brighton, goes to Chelsea, and now what? He's linked with who? What? I mean, he's linked with Tottenham, so I mean that kind of says it all. But so I can kind of understand him staying. The biggest problem for me is it's the eggs in one basket thing. You're seeing a lot of the media, the sort of more Spurs directed media, sort of saying, "Oh no, the talks with Slot aren't that progressed," blah 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 and stuff. For me, I sit and go, I kind of don't believe it, because you can't have. When I say I believe media, I believe the media in a sense collectively. Does that make sense? So I sit and read everything and go, it kind of doesn't make sense. The fact that we're talking about release clauses and it tells me that we were probably quite further down the line than what we're trying to peddle out to try and say, no. We weren't that far ahead. And when the agent comes out and says that the manager wants Tottenham, tells me it can be one of two things. Has the agent basically tried to use Tottenham? Potentially. I think both can be right at the same time. I think if he'd have got the deal that he wanted at Tottenham, he'd be Tottenham manager. But he's gone, do you know what? The deal's not good enough for me to go, do you know what? I'm leaving Feyenoord for that. So I think that's where it sort of stems from. But I think I'm going to sort of move on from that bit for a second, because I think now, who do you genuinely think will be the manager now?
So first of all, what I will say is when you were talking about big clubs going for Arnie Slot next season, don't worry, Tottenham Hotspur. We'll be going for him again next season, because we just sat the next manager that comes in now.
I think he'll totally reject us next season if we did. If we sat him. Because he'll look at us and go, why would I come to Tottenham? Let's just say he replicates what he does at Feyenoord and maybe gets them into a quarter final of the Champions League. They're not going to go and win the Champions League, but let's just say he gets them to a quarter final. You'll have big managers across big teams across the world going, I like him. Yep. He ain't going to come to Tottenham, because he might go to, I don't know, let's just, for argument's sake, he might go to Chelsea. He might go to Arsenal. He might go to Bayern Munich, Juventus. You get the picture.
Yeah. So I've said, do you know what? Just fast forward just a little bit. The second we're bought and sort of sold and bought by new owners, there'll be a lot of these top managers that want to join Tottenham Hotspur. They'll want to be the first manager through the door with that new money, whether it be a massive raid and splurge or a plan to go forward. People will be like, do you know what? Tottenham are a different outfit now. Now I can do something. Now all those benefits and all the features and benefits that Tottenham have become appealing. But
Agreed.
once under this owners, it's not at all. I have said all along that this is going to mirror the Antonio Conte first attempt and end up with Nuno. These names will come out that are all in a club, and I guarantee you we will end up with a guy that didn't cost anything because they're out of a job or have left because their contract ran out. And the three that are being mentioned are obviously Potter, Brendan Rodgers, Ryan Mason. Yes, I've heard and Postecoglou is there at Celtic. I just don't think we'll do it. I think it's going to be a freebie. So it's either going to be an ex-Chelsea again, because that's worked so successfully. That's worked so successfully in the past. And listen, Graham Potter was doing wonderful things at Brighton. Wonderful things. But he saw the bright lights. And I don't want to be... This is where we've got to. We're either going to get Brendan Rodgers, a guy that's practically had a major part in Leicester going down, or almost going down. Couldn't take him when his stock was high at Liverpool or when he's doing wonderful things at Leicester. No, he's free and he's available because he almost got someone relegated. Graham Potter is, let's get your career back on track. You've had a bit of a fall. Let's prop you up. And Ryan Mason is he's Tottenham through and through. He bleeds Tottenham. None of them scream manager that can steer this ship, because we're sinking. We've hit the iceberg. When we use the ship is sinking, we have hit a major iceberg.
No, exactly. And just to break down those three for you, I sit back and I go, I get really worried with that, because I use Graham Potter as a great example. I wanted him before he went to Chelsea. But seeing what he was like at Chelsea tells me why he will be the worst fit at Tottenham. And I'll break it down for you. He clearly had no arrangements with those signings. Do you see what I mean? There is no way he wanted the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, Badashile, however much we think they're all right players, good or bad or whatever. That terrifies me, because if he comes to Tottenham, he will be the yes man that we all hate, where he goes, yeah, sure, I'll have to work with Eric Dyer. Fine, I'll do that. I want a manager to come in. That's why I was so excited for someone like a Slot, because I think he'd come in with it and go, do you know what? I want young, hungry players. These players I don't want, I'm going to get rid of them. My worries is if Graham Potter came to Tottenham, that's what it'll be. And it's proven to me at Chelsea that he realistically was a coach, not a manager. And
what I'll chuck in that very quickly, Perchy, just very quickly, is the only thing that works for Graham Potter here is he won't have a chairman that will just buy every single player worth 120 million, 90 million,
True.
80 million. So,
but he won't. But he also won't get players to sign though, like that he wants. He's in his mold, which will be the biggest problem. Yeah, exactly. No. I get you. He won't get. He was getting all the riches at Chelsea, but I don't think he would have I think if he had gone back and gone, do you know what? I probably wouldn't have wanted all those players. I would have actually liked players of like the Caicedo ilks. Do you see what I mean? At Brighton, the sort of young, energetic, instead of the sort of bright light players and stuff. But and then I go on to like the likes of Brendan Rodgers, and I'm worried that actually is Brendan Rodgers actually our level now? I think Sava mentioned it on his stream, and it's true. To a certain degree, I think Brendan Rodgers is, however bad we want to say, is probably our level, and I think that's a damning indictment of Tottenham right now. That if we get Brendan Rodgers, I think maybe that is exactly where we should be. And I hate saying it, but what do you think on that?
Listen, I loved the football Liverpool played under Brendan Rodgers with Sturridge and Suarez. They had, don't get me wrong, they had the players to do it, but even when he went everywhere he goes, to begin with, they play very expansive attacking football, which is one thing that Spurs fans or a majority do want. Let's face it. About where you are on this spectrum of the ownership, we are absolutely starving for some decent football again, no matter what. Will Brendan Rodgers try to do that and bring that? Yes, I think he could. But he is a 2 to 3 season manager again, where it all goes wrong. I have a friend. You and I have a very close friend in Wayne Holland.
Yeah, big up Wayne Holland. What a guy.
Brilliant guy, like a brother to me. And the things that we were discussing, like he said, listen, we can't defend set pieces.
We can't do that either.
And we can't defend, let alone defend.
Yeah, that's a great point. We can't defend.
So I understand the football part of it, but do I want to see great football and get us nowhere, or do I want to see okay standard football and us challenging it? I would always choose the latter because for me, trophies over playing. So, and I think Brendan Rodgers, if we'd got him when he left Celtic, or we'd got him when he left Liverpool, then I think we could have done something with him. His stock was high.
Yeah.
But when you're going through the shit show we are right now, and then you go, yeah, what we're going to do to rejuvenate everything, we're going to bring in a man that almost got a team relegated.
Yeah.
Doesn't fill you with great success or great hope,
does it? I mean, it would be ironic because we got him Nuno, who basically almost got Wolves relegated last season when we did it. I mean, they literally stayed up with a couple of games to go.
Yeah.
And this is the part of it though. Like I get all that by the way, and it's why I fell for the trap, and I've now promised myself I'll never fall for any of this crap again. Because I sat there and went, you know what? I'm not that bothered if we don't have a manager by the end of the season. Because I said, for me, after the Sheffield United game, the season was over. Yeah. I said, I don't care where we finish. I actually said, I don't want us to be in the Champions League because I think I don't want us to get absolutely humiliated in it next season. I said, actually, because a lot of people say, about Conte got us fourth, but we were fourth when we sacked him, blah, 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 blah. And I said, actually, do you know what? Not being in the Champions League is actually a blessing in disguise because it stops papering over the cracks at Tottenham. For once now, all the cracks are open now. We all know how bad we are. Because I think even if we'd got Champions League football, I still think we'd have been crap anyway. Like, I think we've been terrible this season. But I will move on because the last one you said on there was Ryan Mason. And I will, if he gets a job, one, I would feel sorry for the lad. Yeah. Because I think he should. Because, listen, he's Tottenham through and through. He came through our academy. We gave him an opportunity after that horrendous injury that he got against Chelsea when he was playing for Hull, and he basically retired him. And if he becomes Tottenham manager, how can anyone? No, and this is, by the way, this is nothing on Ryan Mason. This is before anyone in the comments down here go, I'm slagging off Ryan Mason. I'm really not. Because actually, I think he's a really nice bloke that actually needs, I think he's being mistreated actually by Tottenham now. He's now used as the public figure now whenever something goes wrong. Oh, it's lovely Ryan Mason here who's going to help us through it. He's helping us out.
Yep.
If I was Ryan Mason, at the end of this, I would walk away. And not because he doesn't love Tottenham, actually because he wants to actually become a manager. If I was him, I'd walk away and go, do you know what? I'm going to try and get a job in League One, League Two, and start my managerial journey. You're not going to be able to start it at Tottenham. And if he gets the job, for me, I can't see how anyone can defend the ownership at Tottenham if Ryan Mason gets the job. Again, as I said, lovely bloke, but should be nowhere near the managerial job at Tottenham.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. This isn't Ryan Mason's fault. This is Ryan Mason, as we say, is a Tottenham Hotspur fan. He's been a Tottenham Hotspur player, and his career cut by tragic circumstances. But putting him in the position is like putting Ollie Skip in the leadership team.
Yeah.
You're putting on an inexperienced manager that had I think it was 12 games last season. I think he had 12 games. So you're in a really bad state as a football club. And the way to do it is bring in, if Ryan Mason does get the Spurs job, and I don't mean this badly to him, it isn't because of his managerial prowess or managerial talents, it's because no other person is coming forward for the job. And
it's a great PR stint, isn't it? It's great public relations, isn't it? Tottenham boy manages Tottenham. I think a lot of us can see through the cracks and go, we know if you the way you can spin that with someone like a Ryan Mason in charge, for me, is PR beauty. Tottenham boy managing his boyhood club. His career was cut short by tragic injury. I don't want us as a football club to be using Ryan Mason in this sort of way, in this sort of propaganda way, because I actually have a lot of respect, and I actually think he will be a good manager. but he isn't if he starts at Tottenham, by the way. He needs to go down the leagues and build himself as a manager with the lower leagues and see how he does.
This is the thing, Perchy. You look at it. The great thing is you mentioned the PR stuff. Well, as you know, I don't fall through these traps anymore. After 15 years, I see them. I call them as it is. And 9 times out of 10, or 9.9 times out of 10, turns out to be right. So, as you know, on Spurs social media now, the second they post anything,
the
responses they get. Let's just say the PR machine isn't working, but. You raised a very, very good point, Perchy, with the fact that this would be, again, how we treat our youth system, morally, ethically, and just sets out a bad example of how this club is run. We're prepared to damage and harm up-and-coming manager, who I agree, like you, could turn out to be a decent manager, but we're going to give his first proper full-time role as a huge club in Tottenham Hotspur, give him the tools not to succeed. He'll fail. He will fail, unfortunately. And then his career is tarnished. Like people can have a bad job and they go, oh my God, like Potter.
Yeah.
Like Lampard. Look at Lampard right now. I mean, even Derby. He should never have left Derby. I get it. Chelsea were calling and it was his club. So you're not going to say no to your club. But we're going to ruin Ryan Mason before his young career even starts.
Agreed.
And that just goes to show again the way that this football club operate. They do not care about the fans. They do not care about what they do. And they certainly do not care about what happens to a manager or the manager's future. I think it's just, again, it just goes to show if the club want to spin this as a PR thing, that he becomes it and he gets it, then it's like, fans, what are you doing?
I honestly, if he's announced as manager, I honestly can't. I personally can't see it because I don't think he can be. Daniel Levy can be that stupid. And listen, I know he's an absolute idiot as an individual because he's ruining this football club, but he can't be this stupid. Do you know what I mean? Because even the more placid fan that is less sort of irritated by the ownership. We know that. Me and you have dealt with it. We'll go over something very shortly after this. But even the sort of moderates can't go, oh, this is fine. We got Ryan Mason in charge. Surely someone's got to go, what on God's name are we doing?
So I'll tell you how we are as a club. And I wanted to say this at the beginning when we're talking about things, but we started talking about Mason. So a few weeks ago, I'll tell you exactly. This is where the swing is when we're talking about the PR machine and how the tide is turning. And we've seen other people put polls out. Is the board doing good? Whether it be the trust, whether it be fans on social media. I did a poll on the 15th of May. And this was when I can't remember what had happened, but something bad had happened just before. And I put, is it time for the supporters' trust to demand that Levy resigns from the board? Not ask, not inquire, but demand. Believe me, supporters trust that you will get a lot of support if you do this. Because I agree. And listen, before anyone starts commenting, I never expected the trust to get him to resign. I just want to keep putting the pressure on. And when the trust have piped up, it makes Sky Sports News.
Of course it does, yeah.
So just to put the views into perspective, I had 2,026 views on that vote, or votes on that poll. 94% said yes, the trust should do it. So I put another poll out this morning, only 55 minutes ago. Do you think that it will take longer to appoint a manager than the 72 days it took to appoint Nuno Espirito Santos? 194 votes, 93% yes, thinks it's going to take longer. This is, and I know, listen, people go, oh, Brian, that's your account. It's a load of LevyOut people doing it. But it's not so, it doesn't even matter. It's just overwhelming. The optics aren't lying anymore. Everything is pointed in one direction. And like you were just saying about the PR spin, it won't work. It won't work. People,
I don't think it will at all. I think, but agreed. It won't work for saying people like me and you, which we demand change at football club. We have done. I have done for years. I haven't put a penny into the system for 2 years. Not one penny into the system. And you've obviously you've been protesting week in, week out to get change of this. I wanted to just touch on one thing, and this is more for you because earlier in the week, you had to, and for me, I couldn't believe you even had to do this, by the way, had to put out a statement to your followers about people basically categorizing you in a way. I'm not going to go too deep into it because no, we don't need to, because these people don't need to have time of they don't need to have my time of breath and my time at all. For me, people need to stop with the personal attacks on social media. There's a lot of it where people get a lot of personal attacks. Hey, I've had it before as well. People, they wanted me to jump off a bridge because I didn't like their favorite player. It's like, come on, grow up. Like, we're adult. People should be adults, and these people need to stop doing this because it's not fair. Listen, I have no issues, by the way, if someone doesn't want change at its ownership. We all live in a free society. I have an opinion. You have an opinion. Joe Blogs down the road has an opinion. Doesn't mean anyone is right. It means that we all believe what we want to believe. It's the same with like the likes of religion and all that. Like, ironically, is what was actually the sort of thing that was beaten with you with. That doesn't make, just because somebody believes one thing is right, doesn't mean the other thing can also be right. Listen, if someone wants Daniel Levy to stay at this football club and they're hardened by it, go for it. That's fine. I have no problems with that because that's your opinion. I don't expect you to join a protest, of course. Why would you join a protest against something that you believe in? But I don't think these people do believe it. And this is my point. I think these people are, the term online trolls is the use, isn't it?
Yep.
And these people, just because they know that yourself, myself, and other people, by the way, Billy, we can name lists of, by the way, Stell, all these guys are hardened at protests every single week. It's now like the target to beat it with. And for me, I've always been one of these. I'm just like, if that's what people's beliefs are, that's what people's beliefs are. I haven't got a problem if you, I would rather these people, if they genuinely felt the way that they felt, and the abuse that the targeted abuse, by the way, that you got, I had to comment on it, and I people go, why are you hiding replies? I said, because I actually got work to do, and I really don't need to be dealing with everyone's replies on it. I said, because it's one, I'm just standing up for you because you're a mate of me, and that was literally. I said, that's it. I've put my 50 pence out there. Doesn't matter. I was getting people, why you're obviously hiding replies? Because no, it's because I've got work to do and I've got things to do in my life. My life doesn't revolve around Twitter. But for me, I couldn't sit by and just let that happen, because for me it was unacceptable. I've had it before. People called me racist because I don't like Ndombele. It's like, what? It doesn't make sense. One of my favorite ever players is Ledley King. Irony is the brutal word of it. But I just wanted to put that out there, guys, the viewers and stuff like that, because Brian has his views. I have my views. We very much align, very similar views.
Yep.
I think, Brian, you're much more vocal with it than me.
Yep.
But we all do things our own way. Most people actually do believe the same thing. And this is why I've always said, everyone will get to their breaking points. My breaking point was 2 years ago, but my voice was, I'm not going to give them my money. Yours is different. Yours is, I will stand outside the club shop every single home game and I will sing and protest against it, which is equally fine. And I think this is the part of it. And I just thought we'd quickly end this video. It's been absolute pleasure, by the way. Absolute pleasure. And anyone that's watching that doesn't, for whatever reason, follow Tottenham on Tour, why don't you?
Thank you.
Brilliant channel. So, I mean, I expect you all be following this beautiful man and his amazing posse of people that join in, and you do amazing work, genuinely amazing work. I wanted to touch on one thing, and this is the last thing before we finish off. Could a terrible manager, come in charge now? And by the way, when I say this, I don't want it to be Ryan Mason, because I don't want us as a club to destroy him as a manager. But if we go and employ, let's just say, another Nuno, in air quotes. Ironically, Nuno is out of a job. It could be him, by the way.
Could you imagine?
He's out of a job. He basically quit his job. He could be available, worryingly. In a weird, sadistic way, would you happily take a terrible manager knowing that it's going to just get worse and worse at Tottenham?
Right. So first of all, personally, let me just say thank you for what you just said. It really does mean a lot to me. Do you know what? when that was happening, it really got to me. It started to, because attacking me for that is just ridiculous. You can attack me for my views, for my views on the club, for my views on the owners, but to go down a path where you haven't got a clue about me, you don't know what communities, you don't know what I do in regards to people with mental health, you don't know a lot about me fighting addiction, you don't know anything about me, but this is the stick you want to try and beat me with. All I can say is people like yourself, Perchy, and the overwhelming response of support. If this had been a year and a half ago, it probably would have been the other way around, where everyone was jumping on me. But because of the support of the great community that we have built, whether it be people that watch the streams, the Twitter community, the YouTube community, the Tottenham community, people know what I stand for and what I believe in, and they certainly know that I'm not what they were accusing me of. So,
agreed. And I just want to just as a little touch on that, just so what also touched me as well with the response is people that don't necessarily want massive change at this football club were backing you, by the way. They went, no. Brian doesn't want to change at his club, doesn't make him that. And I think for me that showed a lot of solidarity, because people went, no. What you're doing now, you're targeting a man that is just pointing his views out. But I just wanted to touch on that as well.
And as I said, and as I was going to put it out, but as I said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names from stupid trolls will never hurt me. So there's that. Now getting back to the manager, it's got to the point now where I don't think any respectable manager will come. Listen, like Sean Butler said, if we do get Nagelsmann, if we went back and got him, that's not by design. That's Daniel Levy going, oh, I've done it again. I've got to pay a ridiculous amount of money to save my bacon. So that's what that will be. I've said it before, Perchy. I'm not really. I don't care who the manager is. Any appointment, it doesn't matter. I've said before, we could get Pep and Klopp to tag team and become joint managers, and we still wouldn't reach the top four or still challenge for the league, because someone will be dictating from above. So when you do that, you've got to be careful. I don't see how any manager comes in and sorts this. So I think any manager we have this time next year, all right, I'll be in Toronto and it'll be 3:00 in the morning. So I might not be doing a stream with you at that time in the morning, but if you needed me, I'd be there. But we know it's just the same. When you look at it and think, right, and this stat still baffles me, we haven't had a manager do a whole season since Poch.
It's crazy, isn't it? That stat is absolutely a damning indictment of our football club, isn't it?
Apart from Watford, what football club does that?
Yeah, true. No, it's true. But it is absolutely true. And this is the point I want to make. How can managers, when we talk about success now at Tottenham, for me, the bar is so low for me. I mean, for me, success now is passing the ball 5 times in a row. I mean, success for me is actually defending a corner. For me, the bar is so down the bottom, down in the gutter, by the way. Success can be as simple as having a shot from other than Harry Kane scoring a goal, for somebody else to score a goal. That for me is success. I mean, apart from Harry Kane, we don't score goals. I mean, it's terrifying. Without his goals, we'd be in a relegation battle with Everton. And when people, I put this one out there when I said about that, and people went, and it was Jacob, by the way. Big up Jacob, by the way. Much love to you. But he was like, oh, but other people will score. I said, but other people aren't scoring in our team with Harry Kane. But like the likes of Richarlison, Kulusevski, slightly Heung-min Son. He hasn't had a great season, but he's picked up in the last quarter. I mean, that with Harry Kane, by the way, Kulusevski and Richarlison's got 3 goals. I mean, that's a terrible, damning indictment. Yep. I mean, and we go to, without Kane, we might score more goals. How? I can't see it. Harry Kane is single-handedly winning us games of football.
Unless you side Haaland or Mbappe, you're not scoring more goals than Kane.
I even think, and I even said this about Haaland, because everyone said to me, oh, Haaland, but Haaland and Kane. I said, Kane scored 28 league goals, 8 goals short of Haaland with that team. Haaland scored 36 goals, and by the means of it, that's an amazing achievement. I mean, Spurs have just posted saying, Oh, okay. I just saw a notification from the
posted.
club just then, and it's nothing now. It's nothing. It was one of those PR things, but imagine if that was
What's
just like.
it say? Let's have some fun. Let's end with fun. What's the PR thing? Come on.
Yes. Okay. Can you guess? I mean, obviously, people in recording it will obviously know which one it is. Can you guess what it is?
Oh Jesus! It's gonna be. It's the final. It's probably seeing this final game of the season. I'm going for kit sales, like 50% off because there'll be old kits.
Nah, it's more player related. So it's Divine Night at the World Cup, because that obviously yesterday the Alfie Divine had a very good game in the knockouts of the under 20s under 19s World Cup.
Boy.
I mean, and by the way, we talk about Alfie Divine right now quickly. We cannot let this player down at all. What a football player. We've got a young football player. We're already losing Romain Mundle, by the way, who's another one that a lot of people are very highly rated. He's off to Belgium. But yeah, but that's another thing. That's another that's a conversation we can have another time. But
he's my favourite player at the club, and he hasn't even got on the pitch, Alfie Divine.
He did under Jose.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, didn't he? He did play well that game, but yeah, just for me at the moment now, we're so sapped of anything now. And listen, let's be honest. I'll say this right now. I hate watching Tottenham. Like, I genuinely am so excited for the end of the season. I go, obviously, you know, I live out here in Barcelona. Yeah. I go and watch Espanyol. They're in a relegation battle, but I enjoy going to watch them play. Like, I sit there and I went there the other day, 3-0 down to Atletico Madrid, finished the game 3-3. One of the best games of football I've seen for a very long time, by the way. Brilliant. Should have won the game in the end from 3-0 down. I mean, missed the absolute sitter at the end. But it says it for me now that I honestly, I look forward to watching Espanyol play or go down to their ground and watching them than I do watching Tottenham. Bear in mind, listen, I was, for obvious reasons, people do or don't know about why I had to come back to the UK. Well, that's why I met you. We had a really good chat and stuff. I was happy not to go to that game. Someone actually very kindly, big up Ryan Isaacs, by the way, if you're watching, big up, mate. Basically, he had a free ticket. He was like, look, it's going to go in the bin anyway. Do you want it? Went there. I didn't even watch the game, by the way. I just went in, sat and had a chat with a few people, got to half time and went, screw this. Why am I watching this crap? And then went home. I literally left. I just didn't. But it told me, whereas before, mainly because when I was in the UK and I used to go every week in, week out, that football was like a divine right. Regardless of the score, I'd go there. I didn't care. It was actually the first time I've actually been into the Tottenham Stadium and gone, I don't care.
Yep. Yeah, well, you look at it, Perchy, you look at it, and you obviously came out and saw us at the protests.
Yeah, of course.
So you came and spent a good amount of time with us, which was brilliant. And the thing is, like I've been saying, this season, you walk down that high road. I remember going to Spurs from a young kid with my dad, to with my mates, to whoever it may be, walking down that high road, even during the 90s and dark times, there was a buzz in the air. Yeah. There was songs chanted outside. There was activity. There was... outside community, weren't it? Now, we are the only noise. Everyone just walks in single file, in silence. There's no tension. There's no adrenaline,
excitement, anticipation. Yeah,
it's so somber.
I noticed that. I noticed that big time.
Let's just walk into the. I mean, one day we did it. I can't remember if this is the game that you were there, but Newcastle were playing Villa when Villa won 3-0, and Villa.
Yeah, it was that day. It was that day. Yeah,
it was that day. So there were people in the goal line bar watching it that were making. You could hear them chanting in the goal line bar from where we were opposite the club shop. That's how bad it's got. It is so dead down there. Even against Brentford on Saturday, even Man U when we were out there creating all the noise on the protest. It's just single file. Walk. You for the club shop if you want to spend money. Me and Perchy don't. That's our choice. It's just walk. Even after the Brentford game, when we lost on Saturday, a few of us went back out to protest with just the placard. Walk.
Yeah.
And they're just staying there, and it's just like the atmosphere's got. It's now become like you're going to detention. Your body is taking you there but your head is saying, "What
But
the hell am I doing?"
it's where people's kind of feeling is that, oh well, I've got my season ticket, I might as well go.
Yeah,
And
that's
and
exactly what it is.
this is the urge I say to people, regardless if you can sell or you can't sell your ticket. If you don't sell your ticket, actually, I know, and I say this all the time. I said, if people can't sell their ticket and don't go, I know it's so hard because money's so tight, and I totally get it, by the way. If people feel they have to sell their ticket, their season ticket, I get it, by the way. And this is not me telling people what they should do with their own money. I would never tell people what to do with their money. But if you can, if collectively, I was talking about this about, imagine first game of the season, doesn't matter who the new manager is, doesn't matter who we've signed, who we've sold, really irrelevant. Instead of everyone going into the stadium, everyone stands outside. Look at what Valencia did. They had nobody in their stadium and they were all standing outside.
Yep.
And for me, that speaks big, because everyone says about, oh, the money, but they're still getting your money. The media resort into it will be bigger than the money aspect. Does that make sense? Completely. If every single fan, I know it's not going to happen. I'm not crazy. But imagine if half of the fan base went, do you know what? This one game, we're all going to stand outside the stadium. We'll all watch it on our phones. The game's on inside. We'll all watch it on our phones, and we'll all, when a goal goes in, we'll cheer. We'll still chant like as if we're in the ground, but we're standing outside on the high road. That for me will be the biggest thing that can happen. And I think it would have the media presence. Two, it will exactly tell you how many people want change. I think we need to get to that, because I don't think we're there collectively as a fan base, because I see a lot of people, because I know a lot of people I know that go, they just go because they want to go for a good time, which is fine. I've got nothing against that. You're right. You got a season ticket, win, lose or draw. You're just happy to have a good time. But for me, I can see us genuinely nosediving, by the way. I can see it happening. And listen, some people will say to me, oh, you're overreacting. We're not going to get relegated. Without Harry Kane, we could have easily been relegated. We've been in relegation form for about 3-4 months. We could easily be relegated. And that's not me being hyperbolic. I can't see, without Harry Kane in that team, and let's be frank and honest, we all know deep down, we don't want to agree. If we sell Harry Kane, we're not buying another striker because we've got Richarlison. So that, for me, is already the alarm bells. We're not going to sign another striker because we've got Richarlison. And that, for me, is a lot. That should, for people that sit back and go, oh, it's something good, that should be your alarm bell. Harry Kane has dragged us over the line for so long.
You're right. I mean, the one thing I will say, I'll end it with like the stuff you were talking about with the protests. And I think our group are having a lot of plans this summer to regroup, refresh, and come back 10 times stronger than we have, because we've got ourselves into such a good position now. It's just a shame it's right at the end of the season. But don't care when it happens. We've got the support now, or we got a lot more support than we did at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Where we had that windfall of cash and everything was going to be rosy. 3 managers, director of football, and no Europe later. Or possibly no Europe at time of recording later. So there's a lot. But this is the thing. When you plan, people say these planned walkouts. They're all well and good planning them. But it's whether the fan base will do as they say.
Agreed.
I know for a fact of about a few hundred people, if they say we'll do this, they will do it.
Of course.
To the second that they will do it. It needs to be thousands.
Of course. It needs to be tens of thousands, honestly.
Yeah. Or you know what, let's start small. A few thousand just to begin with. That'll be like, okay, people are prepared to do it. Then the next home game, okay, there's more. And a kind of a snowball effect. We can't go, oh, we need 20,000 to do this. And then if 2,000 do it, it gets deemed as unsuccessful.
Yeah, you're right. It needs to snowball. But
yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. We can't trust the fan base to say that. And that's not me being bad. If we're 3-1 up and it's a really good game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If we go and score a goal minutes before the walkout, people don't do it. And I get that. Yeah. Like I said this as well. I agree with everything you just said, mate. And I said, imagine, because I said, actually, do you know what? the biggest statement is if we walked out in a North London derby. I know you're very much on the matter of that's the game that we shouldn't do it, but I actually think, do you know what? For if it's that bad at Tottenham, and everyone, I say everyone, but I mean it collectively, if a massive proportion walked out of a North London derby, surely that would be the one that goes boom. They're walking out of their biggest game of the season, no matter what people want to say. Spurs Arsenal is our biggest game of the season, and if people started walking out of that, because I said about it, and I said it should be a collective time every single time that everyone walks out, or if it's the 22 minute every on the 22nd minute that everyone chants one thing, or the balloons all fly on at exactly the same time, and it's coordinated every single home game. And the worse the results start getting, because I see us going down before we even go up. When people talk about can we get back into the Champions League, you're way gone from that. I don't think we'll be getting back into Europe for a while. I mean, we may get, when I say Europe, I mean the Europa League and the Conference League as well. Because I can't see us getting any better unless something really does change. But yeah, that was just a sort of caveat on your point. If coordination can happen right, then it works, doesn't it?
Well, coordination has. Well, first of all, I did walk out of Arsenal at half time, and I walked out of Manchester United in the 61st minute. But you've seen since the Man U game, the balloons have gone off on the 22nd minute. So that has been happening. Stay tuned for a few antics at Leeds because we're taking it away. So be tuned to watch that. There'll be more activity. There's some surprises at Leeds coming your way.
Live on BT Sport, of course.
So that'll be happening. And yeah, like you said, it's started to get coordinated. It really is. But the thing is, when you start the LevyOut charts, for some reason, people look at you as in like, what are you doing? And it's like, thankfully, the great thing, the purple and gold has taken off immensely. Like literally, the guy that came up with that idea, there's a few people that I saw put it up, but it popped. And whether it be on social media where people have put purple and gold on their name, or the scarf, or the t-shirts at the protest that were purple. Some dude, 3 dudes, if they're watching, big up. They had a purple top with the LevyOut, you know, the one that's black and white with the red enough. And then they had LevyOut in gold on the back.
Brilliant.
There's about 5 of them. There was a guy that travelled from Finland to come to the protest.
Big up to you.
There were people. Sir, it's getting out there. It's getting out there. And listen, we do have plans during the summer. Plans will be revealed, and then we start again. And I think if I'm calling this the summer of disappointment or the summer of bullshit, whichever one you want to choose. We'll be back stronger in August.
Agreed. Absolutely. Listen, back in August we start again, and listen, I'll be back in the UK end of August, beginning of September. I've got a friend's wedding, so I will be back. So maybe we can, I'll be able to help out and jump in. Definitely. Listen, as I said, my protest has always been with my pocket. I won't give these people my money. And listen, if people believe in the same thing, I urge people to, even if you have to cut back, like treat it like drinking and anything, like treat Tottenham like an addiction. Just start cutting a little bit. Maybe next season, don't buy a kit. Imagine if everyone just went, do you know what? Obviously, we all know kits are going to get sold. But if everyone in the sort of Levy EnicOut band went, do you know what? As a protest, not one of us is going to buy the kit. I know a lot of people that wouldn't. But do you see my point? We're not going to buy next season. None of us are going to buy a kit, or we're not going to buy this, or we're not going to do that. And you start slowly going, because for me, I can't justify giving this company any more money because we pay loads of money and then they serve us nothing. Let's be honest, they serve us nothing. We conceded 62 league goals this season, by the way. I think there's only 5 other teams that have got worse goal difference, and they're in a relegation. One of them's already relegated. 2 of them are going to go down, and one more that's just stayed up 2 days ago.
Mate, and just look at it. You got to remember, we played defensive football. We've had the worst defensive record in our Premiership history. Worst away defeat in our Premiership history. Oh no, since 2001 with 13. I wonder what happened in 2001 by any chance. Listen, the records that we're breaking are all ones you don't want to break. How is that moving forward as a football club?
No, exactly. I think that's a great way to finish up on. By the way, I think we've gone for 50 minutes and it's been brilliant. I could go on for hours chatting with you, Brian.
Oh,
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming onto the channel.
Pleasure, brother.
And I hope everyone has enjoyed watching. By the way, and yeah, as I said earlier, if you don't subscribe to this man, what are you doing? Tottenham on Tour. Go and subscribe to him. We'll definitely over the summer, mate. We're going to do stuff together. We have to. We're going to do some videos. We've got to do some videos together on your channel, my channel. Be great.
Even if do you know what, mate? Why don't we do something like this every Friday on your Friday morning?
Absolutely would love that. I would love to bring out some stuff on a Friday with you. Absolutely perfect. Brian, mate, absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
And I hope you guys in the chat subscribe to this man. Subscribe to me, please. The road to 1K is on. We're so close. We're about 494 from 1,000. So, Brian, I would love you to do it on my channel.
Oh, mate, you're going to get it. But first of all, I will say I released a new video yesterday called Lock, Slot and Two Smoking Barrels that is out now with me and Johnny Ham. And it's always a pleasure to do this on
Johnny.
your channel. And are you ready for it? Get
Let's
ready
do
for
it.
Friday. And as always,
Levy out.